As another hour passes by, the Pitt continues to present some difficult cases for Robbie and his fellow doctors to tackle. This is especially true for this episode, which sees the team dealing with the most upsetting turn of events thus far. However, the horrors of episode 8 are balanced by happier stories, allowing the characters in the Pitt to shine in more positive situations. Still, the show doesn't lose sight of its realism, balancing the good and bad in another tense hour. The Pitt's doctors are under more pressure than ever before. Inner conflict and heartbreaking cases are becoming more common. Cutouts of Dana Evans, Catherine Larnassa, and Dr. Heather Collins, Tracy I feature in Max's The Pitt against a blurred background of the Pitt photos with a faint sparkle, custom image by Sarah Novak. Episode 8 starts immediately after Episode 7's cliffhanger ending, as Dr. Collins decides to keep her potential miscarriage a secret. She examines herself in an empty room, but Robbie soon catches her, trying to find out if everything's okay. However, they aren't able to catch up for very long, as a 6-year-old drowning victim arrives, with the team performing CPR in hopes of bringing her back to life after she fell into a pool. With her body temperature at 85, they are forced to try warming her up, all while her family stays by her side. Unfortunately, her story ends in tragedy, with her potassium levels being too high for them to bring her back. Her parents are heartbroken, their grief adding to the already grim beginning of the episode. There is some light, however, as Mel learns from the girl's younger sister that she saved her from drowning in her final moments. It doesn't negate the tragedy but adds to the Pitt's realism by offering a secondary perspective on what happened. But the brokenness the family feels is a darkness future episodes are probably going to deal with. Another important case is a suspicious one involving a woman named Piper, who arrives with a burning sensation when she urinates. Her boss accompanies her and continually speaks for her, making Dr. McKay worry enough to ask Dana for help in separating them. The medical resident is worried something to do with sex trafficking might be involved, bolstered by Piper's positive test for chlamydia. While the duo is trying to get as much information out of her as possible, it seems only a matter of time before her boss gets suspicious. Not everything is bright between the doctors themselves, either, with the cracks of inner conflict starting to form between Dr. Santos and Dr. Langdon. When a patient returns drunk with only half the Librium he'd been prescribed when he last left, Santos starts getting suspicious that Langdon is stealing pills. This is also because of the lorazepam incident earlier, with her investigation of returned vials confirming her suspicions that something is amiss. When she confides in Garcia, though, she gets angry at the accusation. However, its lack of resolution will come back to rear its head in future episodes. Robbie gets a reality check about Adamson's tragic demise. A lighter case shows a different side to his death. While these darker stories are transpiring, Robbie ends up on a case that gives him a reality check about Adamson's death. An older man with dementia, Willie, arrives due to pacemaker issues, having to get a temporary installed ahead of surgery for a new one. However, his medical knowledge is astonishing, reflecting the Pitt's realistic injuries and how they are treated. It's unclear how he has so much knowledge until his son arrives, informing them Willie was once part of the Freedom House Ambulance Service, the first emergency medical group in the United States. Willie offers a brief history of the Freedom House, explaining both its rise and fall as more organized medical services were set up. However, surprisingly, he says that he knew Dr. Adamson when he was a young intern, the pair having stayed friendly even after Willie wound up becoming a postal worker later in life. When he's informed of his friend's death, he mourns but stays positive in emphasizing how much he contributed to the world. It's a stark contrast to Robbie's grief and something that puts the tragic event into a new perspective. Alongside this case are others that have less negativity and trauma associated with them. This includes Rita returning for her mother, Ginger, after having accidentally fallen asleep in her car, with Mel helping her get a list of social services she can use to make her life easier. Victoria proves herself by diagnosing and treating a black widow spider bite, even before her mother can make the diagnosis. It's smaller stories like these that not only prove the younger doctors are capable but also how not everything in the trauma center is doom and gloom. A somber ending teases what's to come. One door closes as the trauma hospital stays busy. Dr. Robbie, Noah Weil, looking worried in the Pitt Season 1 EP1. Image via Max. In the middle of both darkness and light is the conclusion to Nick's storyline, with an honor walk being done as he's loaded into an ambulance and sent off to have his organs removed for donation. Robbie even asks his parents if he and other doctors can attend his funeral, both giving their emotional approval. The final moment of the episode sees him watching Samba as Nick's body drives away. It's another reminder of life's fragility in the trauma hospital, emphasizing how anything can happen to anyone at any time. Episode 8 maintains everything that makes the series so engaging, daring to go in more upsetting directions to show the realism of what can happen at a trauma hospital. The careful balance of life is displayed through the many different types of cases in episode 8 promises deeper importance as the series continues to develop. But, with some stories like Collins's pregnancy and David still being absent from the show, it's only a matter of time until a new wave of challenges washes over the team.